Before I begin here, I just want to say thank you very much for clicking on this video today. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel and like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, turn on notifications for the channel, and invite people here to this channel. And yeah, thanks guys. So today I'll be speaking to you all about a man named Scott Dozier, who I think is cool, who I think is a really cool person, and I have really lots of respect for. So listen up. Scott Raymond Dozier, November 20th, 1970 to January 5th, 2019, was an American convicted murderer on death row in Nevada for the 2002 murder of 22-year-old Jeremiah Miller, who was one of Dozier's drug associates. Dozier would have been the first inmate executed by the state of Nevada in more than a decade, but died by suicide in prison before an execution could take place after a lengthy battle to carry out his death sentence by the state of Nevada. Scott Dozier was born on November 20th, 1970 in Boulder City, Nevada. His father worked for federal water projects throughout the American West, and he moved around the American West a lot, and he had two siblings. He graduated from high school in 1989. Dozier enlisted in the Army on November 16th, 1990, and he was honorably discharged on August 10th, 1992. He married Angela Drake, whom he had begun dating in high school, on New Year's Day in 1991. And their son Ashton was born in 1993. Eventually the couple divorced. By Dozier's mid-20s, Scott was making much of his income from the production and sales of methamphetamine, during the course of which he would alternate between Nevada and Arizona, the two states in which he was convicted of murder. Dozier had commented on his enjoyment of living outside the law in the months leading up to his scheduled execution. On April 18th, 2002, Jeremiah Miller met Dozier at La Concha, a motel on the Las Vegas Strip. Dozier had promised to help Miller buy ephedrine, I don't know how to say that, a key ingredient to the production of methamphetamine. Miller had brought $12,000 in cash for that purpose. Upon Miller's arrival at La Concha, Dozier killed him, sawed Miller's body into multiple pieces, stuffed most of them into a suitcase, and disposed of it near an apartment complex in western Las Vegas, Nevada. The suitcase was discovered by a worker that following week. Miller's head and arms were never found. Dozier was arrested on June 25, 2002 in Phoenix, Arizona. During the police investigation, it was revealed that Dozier went on a spending spree after he had allegedly stolen Miller's $12,000. Then he was telling his friends that he won the cash at a casino. Subsequently, he was also connected to the July 27, 2001 murder of Jason Green, aka Griffin Green, who he had decomposed remains of his body and were found in the desert north of Phoenix. Dozier supposedly shot Green at a trailer in Carefree, Arizona, because Green threatened to expose Dozier's methamphetamine operation. Doug Powell, a former drug associate of Scott Dozier, he notified police of Green's murder and confessed that he and another man had helped Scott Dozier dispose of Green's remains. During his trial, Dozier argued that he had not killed Green, but found his dead body when he returned to the trailer. According to Dozier, he decided not to inform the police about Green's death as it would expose his meth production. Furthermore, Powell claimed that Dozier had been in contact with him regarding Jeremiah Miller's murder. Dozier confided in Powell that he fucked up by forgetting to remove a tattoo located on Miller's back, which was one of the tattoos that helped Las Vegas police link Miller to a missing persons report. During his trial for the murder of Miller, Dozier argued that there was a lack of physical evidence to prove that he had murdered Miller. However, the prosecution argued that Dozier had told several witnesses about his murders. One witness claimed that they saw Miller's decapitated decapitated body in Dozier's hotel room, along with an electric saw and other tools. The psychologist who assisted Dozier during his convictions concluded that he had traits of antisocial personality disorder and displayed narcissistic tendencies such as arrogance, superficial charm, manipulativeness, and a grandiose sense of self-worth. Scott Dozier received a 22-year sentence for prison in 2005 for killing Green. He received it in 2005. After being extradited to Nevada, he stood trial for Miller's murder. He was convicted of the murder in September 2007. He received a death sentence on October 3rd, 2007, which was upheld by the Nevada Supreme Court on January 23rd, 2012. On October 31st, 2016, Dozier voluntarily waived his appeals and wrote a letter to District Judge Jennifer Taglati asking her to expedite his execution. 10 days later, on November 10th, the Nevada Department of Corrections publicly announced the completion of the new lethal injection chamber at Ely State Prison in Ely, Nevada, following the closure of the Nevada State Prison in Carson City on May 18, 2012, which had housed the state's former gas chamber, which has been converted to be compatible with lethal injections. Scott Dozier was transformed from Carson City to Ely in September 2011, and hearing on July 27, 2017, Judge Taglati signed Dozier's death warrant, permitting the execution to take place in the week of October 16, 2017. Following a hearing on August 17, 2017, Dozier's execution was pushed back to the week of November 13, 2017, with the Department of Corrections scheduling the execution for around 8 p.m. on November 14th. On November 9, 2017, Judge Taglati stayed Dozier's execution at the request of his lawyers to the state's proposed lethal injection plan could be appealed. This was the first execution to be scheduled in 7 years in Nevada since Tamara Hamilton, who was scheduled for the execution on August 16, 2010, for raping and killing a 16-year-old girl. Hamilton's execution was stayed to allow him to pursue further appeals. On June 19, 2018, Judge Taglati signed a new death warrant for Dozier, permitting his execution to take place in the week of beginning Monday, July 9th, 2018. The following day, the Nevada Department of Corrections spokeswoman Brooke Santina confirmed that the state had the necessary drugs which would allow to execute Dozier, but also that the execution has been tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, July 11th, 2018 at 8 p.m. Clark County District Court Judge Elizabeth Gonzalez hailed the execution on Wednesday morning, hours before it was scheduled to proceed, in response to a challenge by a New Jersey-based pharmaceutical firm, Alvogen, that it does not want its product to be used in executions. Pfizer and Sandoz also objected to the use of their drugs, fentanyl and cisatrine, I don't know, whatever. Say it, I don't know, said either respectivity, but did not join Alvogen's lawsuit. A court hearing regarding Alvogen's case was scheduled for September 10th, 2018, in which Alvogen sought to prevent the use of midazolam in any lethal injection execution. Alvagen asserted that the Nevada Department of Corrections fraudulently obtained one of its sedatives to be used in the execution, and also filed a temporary restraining order to prevent its product from being used in executions. Lawyers for Alvagen claimed that the manufacturer would suffer irreparable harm to its reputation as a company that produces life-enhancing and life-saving drugs. If defendants, parenthesis I dot no IE I dot E dot IE, the state of Nevada, are allowed to misuse its product of midazole into parenthesis. Sandoz subsequently joined Alvagen in seek the prevention of any other drugs being used in an execution. State prison officials responded to Alvagen's success day of the execution and filed a motive requesting to vacate the order on August 7th, 2018. The case continued in the Nevada Supreme Court, and outgoing Attorney General Adam Lazault made a filing in December 2018 that stated that if businesses could prevent their drugs from being used for executions, that would mean the end of capital punishment in the state. A date has not been set for the hearing in 2019, and it is unclear if incoming Attorney General Aaron D. Ford would continue the appeal. Had the execution gone ahead, Dozier would have been the first inmate executed by the state of Nevada in more than a decade. The last inmate executed in Nevada was convicted murderer Darrell Mack, who was executed on April 26, 2006 at Nevada State Prison. Dozier has been on suicide watch for several months now. According to his lawyers, his mental state has gotten worse due to deprivation of personal belongings and outside contact. On January the 5th, 2019, Dozier was found dead in his death row cell at the Ely State Prison in Ely, Nevada by prison officials. He had hung himself from a bedsheet attached to an air vent in the cell. He was pronounced dead at around 4:35 p.m. Dozier was 48 years old at the time of his death. So guys, before I end the video here, I just want to say I've messed up on some spelling. I'm sorry about that. And you know, some people are gonna think, oh, you support murder, or you support rape, oh, you support death row. Well, first of all, Scott Dozier was not a rapist. It was some other dude that was supposed to be executed before him, years before. Second of all, I respect Scott Dozier because I don't support why he really much of the murders or too much of the drugs, but when he did his interviews for like Vice News and all them, he was so respectful to the people. He's like nice to his interviewers. He was like human. He was like talking to them, being calm with them, and so and so. And plus Dozier, I think he if I was a judge, I would have not put him on death row. I would have gave him, if we had to choose, I'd give him prison sentence, maybe that 22-year sentence, which I think 22 years after 2005 would be 2027, so he would probably be getting out within like the next year if he were still alive and he did not get the death penalty. I mean, he had a high IQ, okay? Higher than most death row inmates. Most death row inmates are mentally ill fucks. But he was not mentally ill, nor was he a fuck. He was not a serial killer. He was not a serial rapist. He was not a rapist. He was a convicted murderer for 2 of his drug associates. And I also respect his military service and his kindness and so and so. So that's kind of all I got for you guys today. I thank you guys for watching all this, and I hope I changed your mind about Scott Dozier. I mean, if you want me to, again, just leave me some comments. I'll respond to them. And questions about Scott Dozier, I know a lot about the man. I've been studying him. So, I'll see you guys around. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.